What's going on, you guys? My name is Trevor Ahing with Brokers in Arms. This is Matt Clanton. I'll let him introduce himself. We're starting a podcast right now called Saluting Success. We want to be able to give feedback and hope and generational wealth, or at least a little bit of nuggets to our active duty service members and our veterans, so they can kind of take the blinders off and start creating financial, literacy and financial freedom for them and their family. We'll have guests on the podcast. Matt and I will go over our specific fields, and we'll just have fun while we do it, So Matt, please.
I love it, man. Matt Clanton, Capital Mortgage, Project Valor, Big Block Realty, husband, father, VA home loan extraordinaire. Did a career in the Marine Corps, obviously, like you did, Trev. 14 years total time in service. Got out honorably 2018, was already in real estate. Made that transition over to mortgages because I was moving back to my home state of North Carolina, and I'm only licensed to do real estate in the state of California. So got into mortgages over there, hit the ground running, and now I'm licensed in California, Florida, Texas, North Carolina, and growing daily. So stoked to be on here, man. Stoked to be doing it with somebody like yourself.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to bring a lot of value to you guys, so stay tuned and pay attention.
Boom. Yeah, Matt and I, we met actually in Texas. We spoke on stage together over in Texas, which was awesome. I learned, did you know that you were speaking there?
Yeah.
I did.
Jay hit me up and said, hey man, what are you doing? It was like the 22nd or 24th or something, right? 21st?
Yeah.
He was like, whatever day it was. He was like, hey, what are you doing on this day? And I said, I don't know why. He's like, you're flying to Dallas to speak at my convention. I was like, okay.
I met you guys, and he was like, you see those veterans? They're moguls. They're very successful. They're going to be on stage, and you're going to be the third one with them. I'm like, all right, let's send it, man. So that was pretty fun. And yeah, met you through there. A little bit about me. I created a company called Brokers in Arms. I did 8 years in the Marine Corps. A younger buck. I got in 2013. I ended up transitioning out about a year ago. But my last 2 years in the Marine Corps, I was accidentally doing real estate. I was house hacking. Every place that I got, I would either buy or I'd rent with my wife, and we had 2 or 3 extra bedrooms, and I didn't want to spend my full BAH, and so I brought the boys in, and she had just lived with rowdy dudes for a couple years, and we saved a bunch of money. And one of my friends was like, hey, that's called house hacking. Like, you should also do that when it comes down to buying your houses, and that's a form of investment. And I had no clue. And they brought me on a Bigger Pockets, Brandon Turner, David Green, kind of inspiration of kind of what we got going on here. And from there, I just realized what I can do with real estate investing, with wholesaling, with my license. So when I got my license, I transitioned out, created my own company called Brokers in Arms, where a portion of our proceeds of every flip that we've done, or a part of our commission, goes towards to the real heroes of our country. And that's whether it's going to be veteran, mental health services, or sponsoring service members to come home for important days of their lives. So it's been a lot of fun. We've been able to, transition a lot of people over into real estate, or at least kind of get their noodles thinking about real estate, and I think that's going to hopefully transform some lives. And it's been really cool.
That's cool, man. It's very congruent with what I'm doing with Project Valor. So Project Valor is huge, man. We started in August of 2020, right in the middle of the pandemic, whatever you want to call it, pandemic. I don't want to get too into it, but we're not going to be PC on here anyway, so who cares? Started Project Valor. Had a huge partner in the very beginning, big loan officer, ended up parting ways. All amicable, we're good to go, but we don't do business together anymore. But Project Valor is the same thing, man. So we take veterans, we teach on different military installations, Staff Academy on Johnson,
man,
over on the East Coast. So I teach Staff Academy over there. Go in, teach 80 Marines a class, 3 classes, getting a lot of reach. And what we do is we connect them, no matter where they're going in the country, with vetted realtors who understand the VA loan, who understand VA buyers, and actually have their best interest at hand, man. Because so many times I see realtors who claim that they know how to work, VA loans, or know how to work with veterans. Yeah, I've done a deal here and there with a veteran, whatever. That's a lot different than like working with veterans day in and day out.
Massive.
Because there are a lot of misinformation about the VA loan out there that you have to overcome as a realtor.
Oh, yeah.
So we connect them with these good realtors, personally vetted by me, anywhere in the country, and then we pay a portion of their closing costs for them as a thank you for their service.
That's awesome.
And it's cool, man. It's a completely free, project for these guys, initiative for these guys. You can go to projectvalor.org and find me there. Submit your information. We'll get you taken care of. We do it for realtors, and we'll connect them with a lender in the event I'm not licensed in that state.
Yeah.
So I hate to say it because it's very cliche, but like one-stop shop kind of deal.
That's how you do it, man.
But yeah, man, it's been awesome. We've helped over 260 families across the nation, given out over $120,000 for free. And that money comes directly from me. So it's awesome, dude. It's
Okay.
really
That's
cool.
badass,
So we're
man.
very, very congruent in what we're doing.
Yeah, dude. Heck yeah. That's why we wanted to do something like this, man. But let's jump into it. I mean, the Inflation Reduction Act. We talked a little bit about it yesterday. I want you to kind of elaborate on your thought process, what your thoughts are on the bill and how you think it's going to affect the market.
Oh, dude. Yeah, so we talked about this yesterday, man.
Yeah.
I watched Biden sign this act in, right? The Inflation Reduction Act, or I forget what they call it. Like they called it something else. Do you know what they called it?
I don't know.
I don't know what they called it. Anyway, Inflation Reduction was like the first thing they called it. Now they're calling it something else.
Yeah.
Anyway, dude, I think the things that they're talking about that are going to be helpful are geared towards like Medicaid.
Yes.
People on Medicaid, people that are old that need caps on like prescription drugs, and they're talking this big game about how this is going to reduce inflation. It's going to reduce healthcare by a few $100s for people a year. It's going to, I don't know, man. It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
I find it hard to believe that it's going to be hugely, a detrimental change or something, or a good change, I don't know.
And everybody I keep talking to about it, they're like, well, at least we get another stimulus. I'm like, no, you don't. There's no stimulus in this bill at all. And then on top of that, you can even ask about drastic changes that you're going to see in the economy. You're not going to see a reduced inflation until 2024 is what they're guessing. That's when you might.
And it might be nominal, if anything. I don't know, dude. I have a hard time believing that when you're printing this kind of money out, the Federal Reserve's printing this kind of money, that we're going to use it, one, in the right manner, the way that they say they're going to use it. And two, dude, we know they're getting kickbacks.
For sure.
Everybody's getting kickbacks.
What do we, it's $80 billion to the IRS?
Dude, come on.
I mean, excuse me? You know what I mean? Like, dude, same with 1099s.
Yeah.
People that are going over there making some money on Venmo and everything. They're mainly wanting to audit, like 2,400, I might be getting that number wrong, more Americans. That way they can thoroughly see how we're going to be able to backlog payments to our government. And all that's going to do is, create havoc for people who are trying to run small businesses, who are trying to really get their paws, plant their feet and get a good foundation, but they don't have good CPAs and all that. And
Yeah,
so
they
just
just don't have the assets and the financial means to go and pay these CPAs to understand the tax code, like, say, Donald Trump or anybody else that can pay the best in the world at what they do. So, it's a tough one, dude. I think obviously we're going to see it play out.
Yeah.
They've already signed it into law, so, here we go. Hang on,
It'll be fun. What I kind of wanted to do on the first episode, Matt, is I wanted to break down the fact that on the real estate professional side, your industry on mortgage lending, and then me as a realtor, I have a lot of people right now that are still nervous to break into the market, but they have, let's just break active duty military, for example, right? So we'll just go straight VA, whether you're veteran or active duty, but I want to gear this a little bit towards, our active ranks. When it comes down to their BAH, it's always rising, right? Every single year they're getting a little bit more money. Even though interest rates are a little bit high right now, would you still recommend somebody to purchase real estate? Or would you think it'd be state driven? Or do you think throughout the continental US, right now, when in doubt, buy it out? What are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, man. So I knew you were going to ask that. Again, we talked about this a little bit yesterday. So here's the deal, dude. And what I do is I'll reframe the question, right?
Okay.
I'll ask somebody back, like, okay, you can ask me, how do you think the market's going? Do you think I should buy? Do you think I should sell? If I asked all three of us in this room right now, do you think it's a good time to buy real estate? We would probably all be inclined to say yes, because we're all kind of around the industry.
Yeah.
But if I were to go into like a mall, right, and ask that same question, it's going to be very subjective to each person's personal goals and their situation. And the best way that I can frame this is saying, okay, well, if we were all in a room and the power went out, who would do better? Would the person who had been planning for the power to go out, that has a flashlight they can pull out, they would have a completely different, mental construct about the whole situation already going into it. Like, hey, so I say that to say this, man, we're in a different time. We're not in a bad time. this is like running a race. If we were to run a race, dude, and things got weird, and you didn't understand the track, or the rain started coming, and I had a poncho, I just kept running, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people stop running right now, dude.
Yeah.
It's different, and people don't like adversity. They don't like different. So they stop running. If I keep running because I've been prepared, we're probably going to see that I'm going to be so far ahead of you by the time you decide to start running again that you can't even see me. You can't even catch up.
Yeah.
So I say that to say this, dude. Buying real estate is very subjective. I think right now it's the best hedge against inflation that you're going to see out there, hands down. Interest rates are coming back down. We saw some highs in May and June.
Yeah.
It just is what it is. I can't quote exact rates right now because, it's just bad juju.
Yeah, of course.
But if you have questions, obviously hit me up. But interest rates are coming back down, dude. We're starting to see inventory tick up. We're starting to see these things that are creating kind of a softness in the market for people who are out there looking. And dude, I've seen contracts come across my desk right now with closing costs completely paid for the seller or for the buyers again.
Exactly.
Which
Seller
is huge.
concession, everything.
I haven't seen that in a year and a half, So there's definitely opportunity. I told you yesterday, I got a VA buyer in North Carolina. He's paying a whopping $380 out of pocket for his new home. The dude owns 2 other homes with his VA loans.
That's awesome.
So, I mean,
that is awesome.
There's wins to be had.
Yeah.
And I say that again to say this. If you have questions about it, if you have concerns about the market, if you have feel some type of way, give me and my company a call. Give Trev a call. Give somebody who's been building flashlights for the past year and a half in their
what an analogy right there, man. Yeah.
To come in and shine some light on the situation, dude, and let you look at it from a different perspective.
I love that.
Because there's definitely opportunities to be had right now.
Yeah. I mean, when it comes down to the competition, I know a year and a half ago, people were overpaying by $50,000 to $150,000 a home, right? So what I'm seeing right now with buyers is on my last escrow, we had some issues with the breaker box. And they were like, can we get some credit? And initially I'm like, no, because it's a different, I'm like, no, you were probably gonna have to go in maybe 10, 15,000 above. But before I even, then it clicked like, yes, we can. Like the way you said, inventory spiking up. A lot of people are taking a step back. They don't want to run this race right now. So moving into homes that you feel like you actually want to go after, you have a little bit more confidence knowing that you can be a little bit more meticulous on how we can fix up the home before you get to move in. So we got the breaker box fixed. We had, about $15,000 in seller credit. And that's the way I'm seeing the market shift. So yeah, you might be paying a little bit more up front, but you're allowing the seller to actually give you a very beautiful turnkey home. Then on top of that, with the BAH, what I'm seeing, it was an active duty major that moved into the house. And we ran the numbers too. I can't get too, into the numbers, but he was paying about $400 or $500 above his BAH as a major. But in Temecula, Temecula is great, you know what I mean? So I love that area so much. And we looked at the amortization of kind of what his loan pay down is going to be, the fact that we can refinance in 8 months to a year, which I'm sure we're going to hit on other podcasts, and then the fact that his BH is going to climb, and the appreciation is something that people don't bank on.
Yeah.
Between $5,000 to $8,000 a month that you're going to get on your home. So in 2-3 years, if he wants to sell it, this dude's going to be he's going to be paying himself back in his own piggy bank in his house and then making tenfold of a return.
Absolutely.
Right now. It doesn't matter if his interest rate was in the 5s. He's going to be making a phenomenal amount of money.
That's a good point, man. I think the BAH, and too, man, people miss the fact that BAH is tax-free income.
Yeah.
It's tax-free income. And then you're buying an asset that you can write things off on.
Yeah.
So now I'm writing things off that I'm paying for with tax-free income. It's almost too good to be true, dude. It's like cheating the system almost.
Yeah, dude, man. I know. It's awesome.
Go use your BAH to buy yourself doors that'll create residual and passive income or nearly passive income and get yourself out of the rat race. That's what this whole podcast is about, man, is opening up your mindset and understanding that there are multiple ways, multiple avenues for you to traverse while on active duty and beyond. And that's what I want to do, man. I just want to empower our watchers, our listeners, that there are these avenues, man. There is more out there than Sergeant Major I've told you this story, dude. Sergeant Major trumping through my office telling me I can't talk about anything but the Marine Corps. Come on, bro.
I know.
Get the hell out of here.
I know.
Like, he used to get
They want
so
blinders,
mad.
bro. They want blinders. And we love the Marine Corps. As you can tell, we have a great taste in our mouth. We've circled our whole business around it. But there is a demeanor on some people where you have an old city structure of just, you gotta have blinders, and this is the race that you're running right now. But everybody else, you want to be able to travel a little bit.
Love the Marine Corps for what it did, man. It taught me how to sell, and I hate the word sell, by the way. I hate the word sell. I love the word education.
There you go.
And facilitation. So anybody that talks to me, you're going to hear that a lot. You're going to hear, hey man, I'm going to educate you and then I'm going to facilitate. Education, facilitation. I probably said it on stage when we spoke in Dallas. Sales is such a grimy word to me. Because if I do my job and I educate you and empower you enough and then show you how I can facilitate it, you're going to make the decision on your own.
True.
So I know that's a tangent I'm getting out on there, but I hate sales, dude. But
you really sold me that you hate sales, man.
Yeah, so, I mean, there's that, dude. I don't know where I was going with it, to be honest, but I don't want people to think that we're out here trying to sell them on anything. We're just trying to empower and educate and facilitate.
Well, another big thing is, for the people who are going to be, listening and watching, every week that we do this or bi-weekly, we're not just going to be running our mouths about the real estate industry. Like, we're going to have veterans that are coming in. We're going to have people that are other entrepreneurs in different spaces, whether they have, a real estate portfolio, whether they do board and cares, whether they're in e-com, whatever they're doing. We just want to be able to bring people that been in the active duty ranks or in the veteran ranks right now, that utilize their mindset that the Marine Corps or the military instilled in them, and they pursued an entrepreneurship, business. They pursued creating something of their own. So that's what we want. We want to interview people. So if you ever want to be on the the podcast, or you want to talk about something you're doing or your venture, please reach out to us. T-Bird on Fire. What's your Instagram handle?
At the Matthew Clanton. At the _Matthew Clanton. So
shoot us a quick DM, message us on whatever our guy Ethan's going to be putting on the podcast to be able to hit us up and let us know what kind of space you're in. Because if it's something that we're able to reciprocate with and kind of want to learn more about, we'd love to have you on. We're going to have a beautiful little couch right here. We could sip on a little drink, or we can just chill, talk, and just touch base on business and money, and really put people's mindset in a place where they know that there's other things outside of, they got to broaden their horizon. I want them to be able to understand that I want to create financial literacy, man. I really want to do that for people who deserve it. And I think our veterans and our active duty deserve it.
To hit back on what we talked about before, man, the congruency between you and I and what we're trying to accomplish. Project Valor, dude, one of the biggest factors, the driving factors behind Project Valor and what I'm trying to do with that, and I think what you're trying to do with yours, is the education piece that's lacking when on active duty, when it comes to not only just free thinking, right, but like real estate in general, right? I didn't understand the VA loan. I didn't even hear the term VA loan, dude, until I had 2 pumps of Fallujah already behind me. I had no clue. I had no clue how it works. Dude, probably even later than that. Probably my 2nd or 3rd duty station, which is a travesty in my opinion. But dude, think about this. I was talking to a young lady a while back, and she was telling me that she was part of the homeless veterans down in San Diego County and San Diego, the city. And I think at one point she said there was like 10,000 homeless veterans in San Diego, in the city of San Diego, which is just absolutely mind-blowing to begin with. But how many of the 22 a day would you say are probably directly related to like veteran homelessness? You think it's a pretty big contributor, right? Oh,
massive, man.
So what we're trying to do is bridge that gap and come together and say, okay, here's the knowledge, here's the financial literacy part of it. Now we're going to deliver these units back better warfighters because they're more sound here and here. Because if you can tell me if you disagree, or Ethan, you can tell me if you disagree, dude. Like, if I educate your soldier, your airman, your sailor, your Marine on these things, and they go home and they have a good home life, and then they come back to work, they can focus, right? They can do their job correctly. They can be a warfighter in the Marine Corps correctly. But if he has turmoil at home, dude, come on, man. He's not going to come to work and perform his best. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to do that, and then hopefully, in the grand scheme of things, dude, 10, 20, 30 years from now, we're going to see drastic reductions in those veteran homelessness numbers, the veteran suicides that are directly related to that homelessness. So, dude, this is phenomenal, man. I'm just happy to be a part of it with you and start it up. And Ethan, dude, you're a freaking rock star. So
Sending it, dude.
Let's what we got next? Let's talk about something else. What's next?
I think real quick to touch base on that, like with education does breed confidence. I think that's massive on what you were talking about, because on my transition out, dude, it took me 6-7 years in, and I went overseas for a little over 2.5 years, attached to Marine Security Air Forces, came back, I had a deployment, and during that entire time, my deployment, I was in the midst of figuring out my transition, and I didn't even own my first home yet. So as I'm doing that, if we're going to get extremely personal, it's true. People go through so many personal crises. Like right before my deployment on my workup, my father-in-law passed, right?
Oh, man, yeah.
My wife was in shambles, as anybody would be. And so I asked my command, like, okay, things were going great at home, by the way. Like we had a good spot that we rented, had a couple roommates, we were solid. But the thing was, things can change in an instant.
Yeah.
I'm going to deploy, that's fine. All right, babe, you're going to go back home. You can live with your mom, that's fine. I'm not even thinking about the setup. But all of a sudden, when her father-in-law died, I'm going on deployment, and I'm like, shit, you know what I mean? Like, what am I setting her up with? So when I'm realizing I'm trying to get a home, I don't even know where to start. I don't know what the resources are. So now I'm just stressed beyond fucking belief, trying to get things set up correctly for her while I'm, 12 hours, time difference away. And so
yeah, it's difficult.
I want us to be able to actually set people up correctly, and that way they don't have to have that precursor of that oh shit factor, what am I going to do now? And that doesn't have to just be with real estate. It just comes down from creating wealth in general. Residual income.
I think a lot of service members have that feeling, dude, especially when they're transitioning out or before. Dude, 6 months before I was transitioning out, I already had $100,000 in the bank. I already had, I was doing well for myself. Always been an entrepreneur, even when I was a young, like, Lance Corporal. We were, tattooing and doing whatever else. Dude, wild days. But, dude, it's just been one of those things where it's like, even then, the uncertainty of getting out and not knowing where my next dollar was going to come from as an entrepreneur was terrifying. So to know that there's people out here that are going to help you and put you on free game, that's going to, we're going to set some people down and talk about that. I think that's huge, dude.
I love it, man. I truly, truly love it. Passive wealth, guys and gals, create passive means of income. Because it's true. Everybody gets out. That was big for me. You're relying on active income. You're relying on things that are going to be action packed now, because you know that you're going to get that on the 1st and 15th. And it's so funny, dude. When I got out too, not only with that, but it involves everything. So if you're thinking about getting out, there's multiple things you have to set up. Like, as I was transitioning out, I was going into real estate. Did you ever look at people, bro? Like, I remember doing this. Now I'm such a hypocrite. I saw my boys get out, and like a year in, they're getting all chubby and shit. And I'm like, look at this idiot. That's not going to be me. You know what I mean? But it's so funny because now things fall on the wayside. The lack of accountability that you can have can put you down a dark path when you transition out. And that can happen financially too. Mental health and a lot of things can fall on the wayside because you think everything's set up, but if you don't have a B and C plan and you didn't unfortunately get that one job, then you have to find something that's going to be able to counteract those measures, man.
That's it, man. I think truly finding your passion, dude. Finding your why, leaning on your why is massive. And your success mentally, emotionally, physically, like everything that you can think of, it needs to be like, you have to find your why, dude. You have to dig into your why. And a lot of these veterans that get out, you guys that are planning on transitioning out or plan on staying in, hell, if you're staying in, who cares? Find your why. Because I lost my why while I was in the Marine Corps. I lost my why for why I was still in the Marine Corps. Like, why am I doing this? I found myself asking that every day. Like, hey, why am I doing this? Loved what the Corps did for me. Loved some of the things I did. Loved the people I was around. But started losing touch with, alignment with the Corps, with the higher ups, losing. And when I say higher ups, I mean like government, right? I lost faith in my government, and dude, it was just one of those things, dude. It became very difficult for me to get up every day, put on the uniform with pride, and go into work knowing that what was I doing? Especially when I started making good money on the outside. Because I was in the Marine Corps making good money on my free time. So I was like, wait a minute, I'm losing money going into work.
You probably had people hate you too in the Marine Corps as well, huh?
Big time,
You probably had people in your command who tried to shit on the fact that you were trying to create another outlet for yourself.
Well, if you're watching this and you was at my last unit, and you remember what went down in the 3 shop with the CO and Sergeant Major, drop a comment, because it was wild, dude. I got pulled into the vault, was told that if I was like a minute late, they were going to fry me. Dude, it was weird, man.
Yeah.
It was a very weird scenario that happened, that transpired at the end. Dude, Mayor Choice was promoted numerous times.
Same.
And right whenever I said I'm done with this and started focusing on other things, talking about other things,
Stop drinking that Kool-Aid just a little bit, dude.
I got tossed out with the trash.
Yep.
It was wild. So, what we got next for him, man?
Revolving door. Well, hey, we'll send this one off real quick when it comes on to people who are watching, because we are reaching out to active duties and vets. Let's talk about veterans now. So let's talk about, let's say they're going to school, because I know there's still stipulations. I get this question a lot. They're going to school and they're getting their BAH, but they want to buy a home. Is that usable income that they can utilize when it comes down to buying a home? Or how would you recommend setting up solid steps to make sure that they can put themselves in a position to get approved for a property that they want?
Yeah, man, good question. So BAH we can't use as income from like GI Bill, school, stuff like that. So if you're planning on getting out and you think you're just going to go to school, get that BAH, go in person, get the full BAH, and use that as your income, it's not going to work, guys. It's not guaranteed or not expected to last more than 3 years, so we can't use it. Same thing with like child support, right?
Yeah.
Kids 15, 16 years old,
can't use it.
It's not going to be 3 years or longer. We can't use that. So same, right? Make sure you're locking on a job before you get out. Make sure you have an offer letter. The offer letter is massive.
Yeah.
If you're going to start a job, you get out, say October 15th, and you got a job starting November 1st. Hey, that's great.
Easy
man. We
day.
can use that. Yeah. If you can find something that's in the same field, or like where you're doing kind of the same thing that you were doing in the military, that's even better. That's even easier to pitch to an underwriter and get cleared. But having that no gap thing is a big deal too. So 15 days, no big deal. 30 days, probably no big deal. You start getting like 6, 7 months, 8 months, you're smoking weed, you're just chilling out, like, want to chill out and enjoy some freedom for a little bit. Now it becomes a problem where the underwriter is going to say, hey, what's this dude been doing from the time he got out till now?
Gotcha.
He was, an aircraft mechanic while he was in, or he was a combat engineer when he was in, but now he's sweeping floors at Wendy's, or, whatever, making Cracker Jack boxes, dude. Like, how is that congruent with what you're doing when you're in? So, there's hurdles to be had with that. But, dude, no BAH when you're out from school, no go.
Yep. Got you. And that's a big thing for me on my end. So before you reach out to myself, I'm going to set you up, and I'm going to get you in place to start looking at homes. But the first thing that you need from laying on your bed, swiping on Zillow, man, you just got to get a pre-approval letter from people like this. So I need to make sure that the homes that we're going to be checking out are homes that you can afford, which, by the way, isn't supposed to be a slap in your face. It's just going to put down, comfortable, realistic means on kind of what position that you're in for a house that you have. It doesn't matter if it's a big home.
That's massive.
A house is a house. You know what I mean? So
I think that's massive. Setting that expectation up front before they call you and say, hey, let's go look at this $1 million house. To talk with somebody like myself and go through your income, go through your assets to make sure you have enough money to close on a home.
Yeah.
Because contrary to popular belief with a VA loan, you don't have to put anything down, but you still have closing costs unless we move back into some weird market where they're paying it all for you.
They get wrapped and everything.
And there's ways to do it, man, and we'll get more into that in future episodes. But, dude, income, assets, your credit profile. Credit profile is huge. A lot of people overlook that, man. When you're inactive, on active duty and stuff, you're not monitoring your credit as much because you don't really care, right? That stuff matters in the real world. So make sure that you have a good FICO score. Make sure you have no lates within the last 12 months. That's a big one with VA loans. Make sure that, if you do, you get it disputed and get it off of there quick. And there's ways to do it, man. We have people on our side that are great credit repair agents and people like that. So, there's ways to go about it, dude. But talking about the income, the assets, the credit profile, monthly liabilities, which is huge too, man. Keep your debt service low while you're in the military and when you're getting out. Try to pay off your debts before you get out. People that have, $1,000 car payments and stuff, dude, you're shooting yourself in the foot if you're looking to buy a house. That will kill your ability by hundreds of thousands of dollars to go buy a house. And you're going to be looking at a house with Trev that you freaking hate. Let's just be honest, dude. You're gonna hate that shit. It's going to be a house that is subpar to you because you feel like you're entitled to something way nicer. I got a hint for you. Sell the car.
Bro, yeah. If you're in the military right now and you don't have a 28% APR 2001 Mustang, you're already ahead of probably like 30-40% of people.
Dude.
You don't need that $4,000 chain from the mall kiosk from that hot girl with big boobs. You don't need it,
Dude,
man.
I was that dumbass. I was the Lance Corporal who went out and bought the first Evo 9 that hit the ground in North Carolina for like $36,000. Had a crazy payment.
$36,000.
Not married.
Man.
$36,000 car. My insurance was absolutely jacked because I had so many like speeding tickets and racing tickets and all that stuff. Dude, you get mom, I'm sorry. This is my plug. Mom, I love you. I'm sorry. Thanks for paying all those for me when I was like 16. Dude, my insurance was like $400 a month.
Jeez.
I was on my own plan. It was a nightmare, bro. My car payment was like $600 or $700. So I was paying $1,000 a month as a Land Corporal for a car. I was the one that we warned everybody about.
Bro.
Dude, it didn't turn out good. That's all I gotta say, bro. It didn't turn out good.
Yep.
But I say that again, dude, to say this, there's ways out of the pit.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
It comes with the knowledge.
Absolutely. Debt consolidation, getting out of debt is massive. And look, it's a snowball effect. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people who are afraid, you really want to jump and buy that home right away, but set yourself up for a good 6 months to 9 months where you can do small wins to get yourself in a position where you can actually buy a home. And that's starting off by paying your credit card. I had to do the debt consolidation. I did that Gordon Ramsay, or Dave Ramsey.
Gordon Ramsay. You're gonna cook your way out of debt?
I'm eating my feelings away, man. I'm eating my debt away. Yeah, I did the snowball debt effect that he had, and I just started compounding what payments I had. Next thing you know, me and my wife were in a position because we actually wanted it. You know what I mean? Like we wanted to put ourselves in that position, and so it ended up working out. And now, you know, we get into a position where, I mean, there's Amazon packages at my front door every day. I don't know what they are. You ask her, but I mean,
Amazon, dude, I could build the sickest kid forts if I was still the size I was when I was little, bro. I could, because my parents didn't have boxes. But
you could probably sell those in California for a couple $100K.
Dude, with all the homeless people, bro, we could go outfit a whole city.
I know.
Oakland, man. Oakland's bad
dude.
right now with that stuff. So.
Jeez. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think right now, hitting a couple things. Our number one thing is just kind of putting our reach out there and talking to our active duty and our veteran community, letting you know that there are resources out there, whether they're on base or not. I'm sure they are, but you can always come to myself and Matt for anything that we have. We're going to make this a series. We're going to go directly in on how to get your real estate license, how to become a loan officer, how to start creating passive income. If you have money that you want to invest in, whether it's syndications, real estate investment trusts, e-com, I mean, if you don't even know what any of those means, that's fine, because we're going to touch all of those on this channel. So please stay tuned, like and share this bad boy, and let's start growing a community where we know that we can really start helping the people who deserve it.
Let's do this, man.
Let's do it, man.
Be a part of it, brother.
Appreciate you, boss. Thank you, guys. Thank you.